Hey, my name is Michael Newell, and this is my history reflection assignment, final exam essay. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. The first question states, after taking this course, do you still have the same perceptions about history that you did at the start of the semester, or has it changed? And give reasons or examples. Personally, I think my view on history has changed since I took this class, actually. Mainly because early on, like in life, since like elementary school, I always looked at history like the most pointless subject. Not because what I'm learning is pointless, but it's just like I was in that mindset of like, where is this gonna apply to my life or stuff like that. And I thought that all the way up until I got to college. But after taking this class, like even I think 2 weeks ago, I had caught myself talking about history to my mama, cause we was talking about slavery, and I had told her how we was talking about Africa, that's what it was, and I had told her about how colonization. I was like, I didn't know that Thomas Jefferson endorsed colonization and sending free blacks back to Africa, thinking that that's like what they wanted. And it's just like things like that. Just the fact that I'm talking about history and talking about the things that I learned in this class outside of the actual class just makes me feel like I've actually learned something and took something from this class. And so I think my view on it is different. I look at history like it can be something that you should be knowledgeable on, and you could like, because my mom was actually amazed. She was like, wow, like we ended up doing research on it and everything. But yeah, to answer that question, I do think my perception of history has changed. My second question was, what was the most important thing you learned about studying the history of the United States from 1600 to 1865 this semester? Focus on one thing. Aside from my essay that I just wrote and about the reform period, like temperance movement, all that, and slavery, I think the most important thing that I learned by studying the history of the United States is I'm not sure if it's the most important thing, but it is one of the most interesting things to me was learning about the Indians and the Cherokee Indians during the Jacksonian era, when Andrew Jackson, I'm sorry, my siblings are tripping, but right here I had, I'm sorry, the Indian removal, like the whole Indian removal era during the Jacksonian era. And I don't know, it just interests me because I never knew how, like before taking this class, I never knew how all the Indians were removed, basically removed from the U.S. or excluded from everything else when they came over. I just knew that, I was just thinking like the early times, like when Pocahontas and stuff like that. I just thinking like they wiped them out and stuff like that, but they were real deal just racist, and they were just didn't look at them as human really, and it was just so unfair. Like even during that whole lesson, I was researching and just looking stuff up, looking at videos. Cause I'm like, it's just crazy how they looked at them as less than people. I don't know. That was crazy to me. But yeah, I find that interesting and very important to me. And the last question that I had was, did the history you learned about in this class help you understand where we are today in America? Think of politics, economics, society, race, gender, etc. If yes, give a specific example of what you learned and how it applies to today. If not, explain why. In particular, does history not provide clues or insights into why people and nations behave the way that they do in modern times? Did the history in this class help me understand where we are today in America? Yes, I believe it did. And I think this ties into what I just did my paper on. What I just did my essay on in the last part in my history assessment essay. The reforms, especially during the 19th century, like the reforms like temperance movement, which gave awareness to like alcoholism and people who are overindulging in it. And even to this day, like there's limits on it. You gotta be 21 years or older to drink. You can't drink a certain amount. You can't, you know what I mean? Certain like stuff like this, stuff like that. Stuff from this time period affected today's time period. Things like the abolitionist movement that spread light to injustice and racism in the country, which is still organizations like that today. Even though the country is less racist than it was then, still very, very prevalent in today's world. And even like the Second Great Awakening, which had people come together and create charities and organizations to help people. Many of those organizations and charities are still active to this day, like Red Cross Foundation, stuff like that, and the Salvation Army. And so, like the Salvation Army and things like that. I'm sorry, my sister just came in. She just distracted me. But overall, I do think our history from that time period has greatly affected us to this day. Some good, some very, very bad. And overall, during this class, I really enjoyed it, and it made me like look at history in a different way. I think I got one more history class to take. I think I have to take American government over the summer, but yeah, hopefully I do well on that. But I enjoyed this semester, and bye.